Well, good morning, everybody. And middle of December finals week for us, and quick little opportunity to catch our breath, I guess, before Big 12 play starts. Solid preseason, I thought, non-conference. Now that it's over, one or two, obviously, that we would like to have back. We could always second guess it and look at it through that lens, or we can choose to realize we got better through it. I think we're starting to play a little bit better. We've been good at defense at times. We've had good offensive games, obviously others that didn't maybe go as well as we would have liked. So I think we're learning. I'm seeing some growth. That's a good thing. Still trying to figure out some of the rotational pieces and whether that's through just injury and some kids playing better than others, just trying to work through some of that. I think that's what this allows us to do this week, where we're in finals and don't play for a little bit. And then when we come back from Christmas break, that same opportunity to really kind of see where we are and study some things, and really just kind of do a deep dive of what it looks like 12 games in with obviously a lot of opportunity in front of us. So pleased with where we are, room for growth for sure. A lot of areas to improve, but so far, maybe a B plus if we're giving ourselves a grade up to date somewhere in through there.
Rotation things, you're referencing CC and Jordan in the middle. Can you describe CC's growth so far this year? Seems like she's really passing the ball well out of the post, making those kind of improvements. And does she need to be a higher volume scorer, or is filling those other roles, doing that rebounding, enough to help this team win?
Yeah, no, I think CC's doing what a lot of times CC's really good at, which is she's a little bit more of a face-up post player. It's where she's more comfortable operating out of the high post. She is a really good passer, for the post, but just really in general. She can spread the ball. We kind of use her in different ways against different packages. When people throw certain things at us defensively, then, she's a great option for us because she's a big target. She has great hands, has the ability to distribute the basketball. At times, the ball and offense moves a little bit better when she's in. Still needs to finish at a little bit higher clip on the offensive end and still challenging her to rebound at a really high level, and especially when you get into Big 12 play, when you're going to play some premier post players, but yeah, she's had a really good year, seems to be playing with a little bit more confidence, or the most confidence that I've seen her since she's been here. So yeah, she'll be a big piece of this.
When Jordan comes back, does that give you a little bit more of an opportunity to play some high-low, some different kinds of sets?
Yeah, I don't think it's just necessarily because those two. I mean, Carter McRae started to play considerably better as well. Mimi's had a good first semester, I suppose, non-conference schedule. But yeah, we need to get JT back. Should be back for Saturday, and she was kind of coach's decision, I guess. Could play, wasn't at full strength, and so we just kind of limited it. Now she got a little injection, I believe, so now hopefully it feels a little bit better, and now we can kind of move forward with the full roster.
What did you like about College Station? What did you do out at Texas A&M? What did you like about how your team performed out there?
I thought defensively we controlled the whole thing and never really, they just really couldn't make any big runs at us. We seemed to kind of answer every time. I think even the analytics showed that we were like 1.3 every time they scored, points per possession behind it, which is great. So we weren't great offensively. That was the disappointing part, that we just didn't finish. Offense never really clicked. I thought we had several opportunities to kind of distance and blow that thing open, and we just never did because offensively we just didn't quite find that rhythm. So a little bit disappointed from that end, but that's a big, athletic, really good defensive team. They're not as good offensively as they are defensively, so we did do what we needed to do on that end.
Mark, looking at Sunday, just the numbers, they turn it over more than anybody in the Big 12 and you force more turnovers. Is the key to the game as simple as that?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't looked too much at Houston yet. This is early in the week. I mean, we took a couple days off, actually, Monday, Tuesday, to give them a couple days. We haven't been able to do that, and we'll get back at it a little bit more today. So that prep will start today, and then even more so, I guess, tomorrow and then Saturday. So, I know a little bit about them, and yes, what you alluded to has been accurate so far. I think maybe, they may be trending a little bit more in the right direction. I'm sure they're learning a little bit more about themselves with the new roster and a new coach. So, wish I had a little more information for you, but don't know too much yet.
You say you're going to do a deep dive. When you get these winter breaks every year, do you learn a lot when you go back and really kind of pick apart the first however many games?
Yeah, and I think we've been picking it apart as we go. This just now gives you the full report with some of the analytics we can look at, and then we'll do it individually as well. So, maybe even today or tomorrow, and then when we get back, we'll meet with the players again individually, give them some of this stuff to show them kind of, hey, we're 12 games in. That's a pretty good sample size. Here's what we know. We've known a little bit of what we do well, what we don't do well up to date, but now we can kind of just take a step back and really evaluate it at a deeper level.
Give a good example of like the last 2 years, something you noticed that.
It's different I think it's different every year. Early this year, like our opponent's assist rate, we were like one of the bottom 10 teams in the country in team scoring off of assists, So if we didn't turn them over, they were scoring, and it was mostly off an assist. So it was like, oh, let's do the deep dive. Why? It's never happened to one of our teams before. What's going on here? And some of it was some of the ball containment. So people were getting biased, we're helping, we're getting in rotation, and then if you move the ball, you were having success against us. So it allowed us to really kind of do the deep dive into, okay, it's our ball containment, that's what's triggering this. So over the last couple games, and we really go in 6-game trends. So the first 6-game trend versus this 6-game trend. Now I don't know that we've completely rectified that problem, but it's certainly trending in the right direction.
Good. A couple of points, part question, let's put it that way. You finished 4th and 5th the last 2 years in the league. What's it take to make the next step up, number one? And number two, this team seems to be more versatile and deeper than the teams you had. How does that work into that equation?
How do we break through and obviously win the league or get into the top 3, I guess, if we don't want to be 4th or 5th. We'll continue to defend at a high rate, figuring out offensively how we can be a little bit better. That's what we've thought. We've been elite defensively our first 2 years. We haven't quite been as good as we wanted to be. As of right now, our analytics, say we're the 12th best defense in the country and the 24th best offense. So we're still trending in the right way, but our offense still isn't quite up to where our defense is. So still trying. We need to make more threes. We rebound the ball much better than we have the first 2 years. Score in the paint still a ton. We're top 10 in the country in free throw attempts, unfortunately not makes. So we got to clean that one up, but we were getting there a lot. It's just some of the perimeter stuff. Offense stalls a little bit. We weren't moving it very well early, so we're moving it a little bit better now. Still need to take that to another step. So, I think if we can get offense there, we can make some perimeter shots. That helps us offensively. If we can continue to get better defensively, but we're holding our own there, I think that's the steps that it takes to get, into that top 3.
In your mind, how much better will you be at the end of are you shooting to be at the end of the season than you are going into it?
The shooting component of it? Or just in general, like how much better? Oh, yeah. No, I think this team will continue to get better. The newness of it is why I think the ceiling's fairly high. Just we're still working in quite a few players. I still don't completely know the rotation all the time. I think we still are working through that. Where like the last 2 years at this time, I knew exactly probably who was playing how many minutes. Unless there was an injury, there wasn't a whole lot of movement there. So that's good and bad. So there's still a level that this team can achieve that they just don't even know yet if they'll continue to work. But we've got some elite teams in our league at the top of it. So we're going to, we'll have our hands full for sure, night in and night out. But yeah, excited to see where this team can go.
Coach, obviously in this era, the transfer portal, kids come and go and this and that. So you can run into situations where you're coaching a kid against their former team, like with Gia coming up. Is that even a situation anymore? I mean, how do you kind of handle that when a player is going to go up against their former team?
Yeah, we don't say too much, honestly. So Gia was committed to Texas A&M, and we just played them. And then I think there was a coaching change, and maybe they weren't quite as interested in her after the coaching change. So I think there was probably some internal motivation there, and now she'll play against, a Houston team that she played at, but it's a new coaching staff. And so I don't know if there's, I don't know there's going to be a ton of emotion there, maybe a little bit just because she's had that jersey on, just a year ago. So yeah, we don't, maybe talk about it on the side. We don't bring it up really with the collective group or anything like that, and you don't want him to get overly emotional about it. But certainly, yeah, there may be a little extra pep in her step potentially.
They can tell you all the hot spots to eat, right?
Yeah, except they're coming here, so we're not going to Houston. So yeah, no, we're playing at home, so we can talk about that, but I don't.
You don't go to Houston this year?
We do not. Yeah, this is the only time we play them.
Okay.
Do you like these December conference games?
It's okay. Rather than, jamming them in or having to play, the alternative is to play maybe the 27th of December or something like that. And no, I wouldn't then you're bringing your kids back on Christmas Day or potentially earlier, and that's not any good. So it's okay. Most leagues are doing it too now. I think we've played enough league. I mean, our non-conference is over, so whether we start it now or wait till after Christmas, we've gotten the non-conference completed, so that's okay. Yep.
Coach, you mentioned back in the summer that when you looked at the analytics in the offseason that three-point shooting was specifically something that you guys were focused on. So when you do that deep dive, where do you guys, I guess, necessarily stand with three-point shooting?
We haven't taken the steps that we needed to take, I guess, is the answer. It's honestly about the same as where it's been, maybe even a hair below it, to be honest. I think we're right at about 7 made threes a game. The elite offenses are still probably around 8.5 and up. So, percentage isn't high enough for us, and nor is volume of makes. And some of it, like some of the kids, like Jordan, just got off to a slower start, so I thought that hindered it. Shaw's been shooting it pretty well. Riley has not, started off okay and now has dipped a little bit in her three-point shooting. So just some of the ones that we need to make at a higher rate, just either haven't or have just kind of been up and down a little bit more than they would like. So can it get fixed? Sure. Some of it was our ball movement too, though. We're taking shots in the paint over 3 people when we've got somebody standing there behind the three-point line wide open and, probably taking an ill-advised shot. So I think we've gotten a little bit better there. We've gotten lots of transition looks. That's one area transition-wise that we've noticed that we can be better. We need to convert some transition threes that we haven't shot at a good enough rate. So, yeah.
How do you balance that? Because it's like, if you just want to say, hey, we want to hit 8.5 a game, you could just chuck threes up until you reach it. But how do you balance that into actually a good, functioning offense?
Quality of shot is what we're trying to get, and we don't have to take threes. If we're getting layups, we're turning people over and getting a million layups or getting to the free throw line, then we don't have to. And this team has shown the ability to play multiple ways. There's some games we've taken 30-plus threes and made 10, which isn't a great percentage, but we've got to the 8.5. But again, you don't want to just launch and not shoot them and shoot low percentage. So it's a careful watch for us right now and a careful balance with this team because we don't shoot it great, but I don't think we shoot it terrible. So it's just one of those that we have to keep an eye on.
Coach, you talked about at the beginning of the season the fine line that there is between overscheduling and underscheduling based on what you have. Having gone through your non-conference now, you guys went through a wide array of different kind of games and emotions, and so kind of the state of affairs on what you saw on the non-conference. I mean, was it pretty much everything you kind of hoped for?
Yeah, we've gotten a lot out of it for sure. If you had told me 11-2 before, I could maybe see that. Now, not how it happened. I mean, nobody saw Duke happen in the way that happened and the emotion that came from that. And then we had the opposite emotion on the loss to Ohio State, and then just the complete dud against Villanova, So, we've gone through the gamut, which is okay. It's good to see this team, how they respond to some of those emotions is, I've learned. I know more. I have more knowledge now than I did, obviously, before the non-conference started. Collectively, individually, we've had some highs, obviously a few lows. I think we are a much better team now than we were 12 games ago. So it's all, it worked. I mean, I think it worked. I mean, I guess ask me when it's all over. And then some of it, too, is dictated. They're we need some of these teams that we've played to go have good years. Sure. They need to go win a bunch of games. That makes it look a little bit better, too. We need Duke to get right and get it figured out and go do some things. And Villanova, please go have a great, please go win as many as you possibly can to make that look, that wasn't maybe so bad of a loss, but it was at home and we didn't play very well. So, lots still to get better. I think we play different styles, which should help us too. You get to the Georgia Techs and A&Ms, you get these bigger body defensive teams, that had a game plan. Similar game plan that we figured out, I guess, a little better against Georgia Tech, but we were at home. So, A&M beat Colorado, beat Kansas State, in our league. So we're okay, that gives you, I don't try to score compare too much, especially early, but you're okay, well, what does that mean? I don't know if it means anything, but it's something that you just kind of take notice of. And now we'll have to go play well in the Big 12.
You mentioned your free throw attempts and how they need to get better, but how about keeping the opponents off the line? Done that at a pretty good rate, I think.
Yeah, no, we have. And we've done a pretty good job of that since I've been here. About as much as we pressure, really making sure we don't send people to the free throw line. We can't do both. That's a recipe for disaster. But yeah, no, we were at one point our trends again. But through the first 6 games, we were number 1 in the country in getting to the free throw line. I think we're about 9th right now, and then the percentage isn't anywhere close to where it needs to be. But yeah, just putting pressure on the rim is what we do. We can do it off the dribble. This team has the ability to throw it in there a little bit more. We offensive rebound at a little bit higher clip, although we weren't bad offensive rebounding last year. We just were not very good defensive rebounding. So we've kind of, I think, squashed that a little bit, where we're now solid in both of those areas, if not even a little bit better rebounding wise. So yeah, something we'll continue to keep an eye on. Some games I think we'll get there more. Others maybe not so much, but we do have the ability to put pressure on the rim.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks, everybody.